even gets his lunch back. If last night at the friendship dinner, someone told me that people were lined up clear down to Sechrist Auditorium to get dinner, I probably would have had a nervous breakdown. I mean, I'm pretty good at feeding people and making meals stretch, but I can only do so much. It would take a miracle. Miracles are central to John's stories about Jesus. The author organizes the entire gospel around 7 of Jesus' miracles. Today's reading includes numbers 3 and 4. Miracles are so important to this understanding of Jesus. Back to the story. Jesus has the people sit down, divides them into groups, takes the bread, gives thanks, and distributes it to the people. And everybody gets free food, and everybody's happy. Actually, everyone's really happy. People like the free food so much that they want to make him king. And why not? I mean, think of the economic prosperity from having a king who can miraculously or magically multiply stuff. But apparently that's not what Jesus wants. He's got something different in mind than being a vending machine. At the beginning of the story, the crowds were following Jesus because of the signs he did. In the next story, which I think is next week's lesson, Jesus begins his teaching by telling the crowd, "You are looking for me not because you saw signs, but because you ate your fill of the loaves." Then he goes on to talk about himself as the bread of life, manna from heaven, the true bread for the world, not the kind of bread that the people were expecting. You see, Jesus doesn't quite meet their expectations. He doesn't fit into their box. But next in today's lesson, we get a quick story about the disciples getting into the boat ahead of Jesus and going on ahead to the other side of the Sea of Galilee. As they're going, it gets stormy. Well, surprise, surprise. Apparently there is always a storm in the Sea of Galilee. John doesn't mention them asking if they're going to perish, but I think it's safe to assume that they were a little on edge. Then, a few miles into the trip, they see someone walking on the water towards them. And as John records, they were terrified. Now, that's an entirely reasonable reaction. People don't walk on water. Jesus reassures them, but then, instead of calming the storm,